can you tell if a property is a good deal or not? Real estate is expensive these days, so the last thing you want to do is spend your hard-earned money on some real estate just for it to turn out to be a money pit. So to help save you your time, money, and sanity, here is a quick and simple way to analyze multifamily property to see if it's a good deal or not. The first thing you need to know is what your expenses are. As far as expenses go, your mortgage is going to be your biggest expense. Most likely your mortgage will consist of the mortgage payment itself, your taxes, and the insurance for the property. To estimate what your mortgage will be, all you need to do is Google mortgage calculated with taxes. Simple as that. Other expenses that you need to account for include any utilities that you are responsible for, including your water bill, any exterior maintenance such as lawn care and snow removal, and you also need to set some money aside for any unexpected repairs. Now, how do you estimate how much you need to set aside for repairs? That's going to bring us to the second thing you need to look out for, and that's the condition of the property. The condition of the property affects not only how much the property is worth as a whole, but it also affects how much rental income you can get from the property. The last thing you want to do is spend top dollar for something that hasn't been updated in the past 20 years. As far as the condition of the building, knowing what to look for is crucial when deciding whether a property is a good deal for you or not. Here is a list of things you need to look out for. Let's start out with the interior of the property. What is the condition of the flooring? Is the flooring in good condition or does it need to be cleaned or refinished? What is the condition of the bathroom? What does the bathtub vanity look like? What does the bathtub area look like? Also, make sure to turn on the faucets in the sink and the bathtub to test the water pressure. What is the condition of the kitchen? What do the countertops look like? What do the cabinets look like? Also, what does the flooring look like in the kitchen? Make sure to check the ceilings in each unit of the property for water damage. Water damage normally looks like brown spots or bubbling. Any water damage is a sign that there is a leak either in the floor above or the roof. What is the condition of the basement? The basement is actually one of the biggest factors to determine whether the property is a good building or not. Check the walls, especially the interior walls, for any signs of water damage and flooding. And a side note, don't let other people's stuff or other people's clutter prevent you from looking at everything in the basement. Don't let the seller use clutter to potentially hide any defects in the home. While you're in the basement, make sure to check out the utilities. Are the utilities separate for each unit or is it all running on one meter? How does the furnace and the water heater look? Do they look newer or older? Also, make sure to check the electric panel. Does it have circuit breakers or does it have fuses? If it has fuses, it needs to be updated. Next, we check out the exterior of the property. What are the condition of the windows? What are the condition of the gutters? What about the landscaping? Is everything clean or is everything overgrown? And lastly, if there is a garage, what is the condition of the garage? All of these are important factors when determining the condition of your building. If the building is in older condition, I would set aside more money for unexpected repairs versus if the building was a brand new update. Now back to the original question, exactly how much money should you set aside for unexpected repairs? I recommend anywhere from 5 to 10% of your monthly rental income. Not only should you pay attention to the condition of the building you want to buy, you should take a look at the properties around the building that you want to buy as well. Why is that? That brings us to the third thing you should look at, which is location. I'm sure you've heard how important location is when it comes to real estate. But when you're buying multifamily properties, you should look at location a little bit differently. For example, looking in the most expensive areas for multifamily property might not be the best idea. If the area is too expensive, you're going to have a hard time finding a tenant that will be able to afford the rent. Chances are the people who can afford the rent in more expensive areas will be looking to buy a home, not rent. At the same time, you need to be careful not to buy multifamily properties in areas with a lot of boarded up properties around it. You want multifamily property in areas where people will want to live in. And if the neighborhood is so bad that other properties are abandoned, you're going to have high turnover as far as tenants go. And you're going to have a hard time keeping a good tenant in place. That means you'll have to constantly look for tenants and your building will constantly be vacant, which will cost you money. So look for properties in areas that aren't too expensive, but not too bad at the same time. Make sense? Now, the last and biggest thing you need to look at in terms of multifamily property is the actual value of the property. Of course, it's easy to find what a property is priced at, but how do you know the actual market value of the property? Just because they're trying to sell it at a certain price does not mean that the building is actually worth that price. So how can you tell if the price is actually a good deal or not? The best way to do so is to look at what similar properties in the immediate area have sold for. Don't look at the properties that are currently for sale because they haven't sold yet, so you don't know if that's the true price. If everyone is trying to sell their property for $1 million, but similar properties have only sold for $200,000, then that property is only worth $200,000. Finding properties that are actually comparable to the one you're looking at is actually harder than it looks, just because once again there are so many factors that go into valuing a property. To make things easier for you as a buyer, I would recommend to actually reach out to a realtor such as myself and have them look into comparable properties for anything that you're interested in. Realtors actually provide this service for free, so why not take advantage of it?